Hey everyone, Joey here with a quick news update on the Metroid Prime Trilogy for Nintendo Switch. Or at least the idea of the Metroid Prime Trilogy on Nintendo Switch, as it appears that a former Retro Studios employee claims that it would be very hard to bring this collection to the system. This was discovered by Gladrax on Twitter, who found the former Retro Studios employee on Facebook, and his name is Michael Wicken, who was the lead designer on all three original Metroid Prime games, ran the Trilogy compilation project, and was a lead designer on Donkey Kong Country Returns. So this comment exchange was found on a Facebook post by Shine Sparkers, which I'm sure all us Metroid Prime fans can relate to, with one Facebook user commenting that if it ever comes to Switch, they'd love to give it another playthrough. Michael Wicken replied, "That would take a lot of effort, so I am pretty skeptical it will happen. It was straightforward to update Metroid Prime 1 and 2 to motion controls, but converting Metroid Prime 3 to normal controls would be a Herculean effort, as it is scripted very specifically using volumetric triggers to detect the motion in precise manners to do specific switches, and the bosses are tuned to take into account the ease of gestural aiming." He also suggested that the gyro would not be able to mimic this sort of behavior. He also claimed that the biggest issue is Retro no longer has functional editor tools to work with the Prime code base, so everything has to be brute force hard-coded, rebuilding the hundreds of interaction sets in Metroid Prime 3 alone, not to mention retuning the gameplay to take in the slower engagement pacing of conventional controls would probably take a year with a 4 to 5 person team full-time by itself. So I guess this confirms that the Metroid Prime Trilogy is not coming to the Nintendo Switch. Okay, let's pump the brakes a little bit there. There's a few things to consider here. One, this is just one person who no longer works at Retro Studios. They mentioned that they haven't worked for the company since they shipped Donkey Kong Country Returns, which was over 10 years ago. And we also have to consider what the priorities for Nintendo are. If they think the Metroid Prime Trilogy would be valuable to put on the Switch, especially before Metroid Prime 4 comes out, maybe they would put in the time, effort, and money to make sure that it does run on Switch no matter what. So while there is some value in what Michael Wicken is saying since he worked on the games and the Prime Trilogy collection itself, it shouldn't be any indication of what's happening at Retro Studios right now, so we really can't prove anything from this conversation. He also never outright said that he doesn't believe that they're working on a Prime Trilogy for the Switch. He's just saying that in order to make it happen, it would take a ton of effort. And you know, I'm not a game developer at all, but I have a feeling that if they could port Skyward Sword to the Nintendo Switch, they could totally do the Metroid Prime Trilogy. But that's just my thinking as someone who has no game development expertise whatsoever. But what do you think of this? Do you think this proves that we're not getting the Metroid Prime Trilogy on Switch? Or do you think otherwise? Let us know in the comment section down below, and check out the videos on the right for more topics that you might be interested in. Until next time, bye.